If you're one of those people that think R-rated horror films are the only good type of horror films, then I'm here to prove you wrong, because PG-13 horror films can be just as eerie, just as scary, just as awesome as R-rated horror films. So yeah, let's talk about those. Hey everyone, welcome to the Top 10 list. Welcome to my Top 10 favorite PG-13 horror films. Yes, I know when most people think of horror movies or scary movies, they think of R-rated horror films. They think of movies that are so terrifying, so scary. Movies that have a lot of blood and guts and stuff, bad language, adult content sort of films. And they assumed all great horror films are R-rated films. And I will admit, yes, most of the best horror films of all time are R-rated films, like Alien, The Shining, Halloween, Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Exorcist. They're all R-rated films, but you know what? There's some pretty amazing PG-13 horror films, and I'm here to talk about those films, yes. Because PG-13 films, just because they don't have a lot of blood and guts and all that, bad language, all that, all the sex and everything, just because they don't have those kind of things in their films, doesn't make them not scary or not as impactful or not as interesting or captivating as R-rated horror films. So yeah, I thought I'd count down my top 10 personal favorite PG-13 horror films. So yeah, let's have fun with this, shall we? And for a top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions. And my honorable mentions are The Woman in Black, Cloverfield, Insidious, The Uninvited, What Lies Beneath, Fire in the Sky, and The Last Exorcism. Yes, all very good movies, just gonna make the top 10 list. But naming my top 10 was my number 10. And my number 10 is Tremors. Yes, Tremors is a very silly, very cheesy, over-the-top monster film, and I love it. I love it. It has Kevin Bacon. Yes, Kevin freaking Bacon with the coolest mullet you'll ever see. Fuck you, man. Yeah, and this is a great film. This takes place in the middle of the desert, and they're basically fighting a sandworm. I guess that's what it is, a sandworm in the ground, and it's killing people, and it's basically about all these people trying to survive against this sandworm and trying to kill it and everything, and yeah, they're all a bunch of like redneck hicks and stuff, and it's hilarious. This is a very funny movie, but also it's creepy, it's creepy, it's over the top, and it's a monster movie. If you love good, silly B-movie monster films, then Tremors is the movie for you. And it's not R-rated, it's PG-13. It's awesome, it's great, it's over the top, love it. Coming number 9 is Mama. Yes, Mama. Yes, really good movie, yes. Can't believe this director went from Mama to It. It's a very different horror film, and actually a better horror film. Yes, It this year was pretty amazing. But Mama is a really good, very underrated horror film. This is actually a very spooky story, and I love it. Jessica Chastain, everyone knows that I love Jessica Chastain. She is so great in this film. And Nikolai Walden, guy from Game of Thrones, Nikolai Coster-Waldau, that's his name, from Game of Thrones, Mr. Jaime Lannister himself. He's in this film, he's really good too. And it's a really good story, a really good ghost story, and I love Jessica Chastain in this movie. She gives a fantastic performance. Her relationship with the daughters are really well done. This is a very spooky and atmospheric film. This one doesn't rely on, again, gore and a lot of, CGI or anything. This relies on, again, fear of the unknown, of what you don't see and stuff. It relies on a lot of atmosphere. That's why I really like this movie. It's not amazing. It does have a silly ending, and it does have some jump scares that I don't like, but it is a very atmospheric film, and I really enjoy this film, and yeah, I think it's a very overlooked movie, and if you like a good ghost story, then check out Mama. Mama's a great film. Coming number 8 is Lights Out. Lights Out was a really good movie, yes. I think, I even said this in my past videos, that I think I was a little too rough on this film when I first reviewed it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I think it's better than a 7 out of 10. I've seen this movie like six times since I saw it in theaters, and maybe when I saw it in theaters I just wasn't fully blown away, but watching it more and more, it's actually a very good movie. I think it's a very effective film. It is a little too short. That's my only issue with it. It is way too short. I have the Blu-ray of it, and I watched the deleted scenes, and they should just put all those deleted scenes in the actual film, because the film is way too short. It's an hour and 20 minutes, and I give the movie credit for an 80-minute movie. I do care about these characters. I do care about Teresa Palma's character, her boyfriend, and Maria Bello, and her little brother and stuff. I do care for these characters, but I could have cared for them more if they fleshed them out more, because they don't really talk about her real father, because that's her half-brother. You don't know what happened to Teresa Palmer's real father until you watch the deleted scenes, you find out, but they could have explored more of the characters. That's my only issue with Lights Out, but Lights Out is still a very good spooky story, because it's about this girl that is like obsessed with their mother a long time ago, and she died, and like her spirit is attached to their mother, and she can only show herself in the darkness, and the lightness is the only way to destroy this like spirit thing, and it's really cool. It's a really, really good story. It's spooky. It's got great performances, good direction, and yeah, I really, really enjoyed this film. I think the director of this movie did Annabelle Creation, so I like what this director's doing. I like his kind of horror, and yeah, I really enjoyed Lights Out. I didn't love it the first time, but the more and more times I watch it, the more and more I like it. It's a very entertaining horror film, and yeah, it's PG-13. Coming number 7 is Drag Me to Hell. Yes, Drag Me to Hell it's a Sam Raimi film. That's all I gotta say, right? It's a Sam Raimi film. When you watch a Sam Raimi film, you know what you're gonna get into. Sometimes you get those weird Sam Raimi films that are really serious, like A Simple Plan and The Gift, not the Joel Edgerton one, the Cate Blanchett Psychic one. Another good movie, but sometimes you get like a very serious Sam Raimi film, but most of the time you get a very silly, over-the-top one, like Evil Dead and stuff. Evil Dead's amazing. Drag Me to Hell is no Evil Dead, or Evil Dead 2, or Army of Darkness, but Drag Me to Hell is a very entertaining, very darkly comedic horror film. Basically, it's about a girl who didn't give a loan to a lady, so this lady puts like a curse on her, and basically she's like seeing all these weird visions and stuff, and basically she's about to go to hell, and the only way to stop it is she has to like give the curse back to the lady who gave her the curse and everything. And yeah, this movie has a really very predictable story and a very predictable ending, but it's got the Sam Raimi charm, it's got the Sam Raimi humor, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And the lead performance by the girl is really good. Justin Long is really good in this movie. It's just an all-around entertaining film. It's not amazing, but it is very entertaining, and it's Sam Raimi. You gotta watch it for Sam Raimi. Coming number 6 is The Ring. Yes, The Ring. What a great film. Yes, this is directed by Gore Verbinski. Never thought the guy would be a horror movie director, but he did Pirates of the Caribbean, so yeah. Before Pirates of the Caribbean, we had The Ring, and The Ring is such a good film. It's a remake of an old Japanese film called Ringu, and yeah, I'm gonna be doing a ranking of all the Ring films, so I don't want to talk too much about this film, but it's a PG-13 horror film. It's got a great premise. Basically, you watch this videotape, you got 7 days to live, because Samara is coming for you 7 days. Naomi Watts is great. It's got really good thrills. It's a very scary movie for a PG-13 horror film. It's well directed, it's creepy, it's unsettling, and yeah, I'll talk more about it when I do my ranking of the Rings movies. So yeah, it's a great film, and it's PG-13 as well. Good job. Come number 5 is 1408. Yes, 1408 is a Stephen King adaptation, and this is a damn excellent film. This is such a good movie. Yes, John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. Stay out of 1408. It's haunted, and I love this movie because it's about this guy, John Cusack. He's a writer of horror novels. He goes to stay at like haunted motels and hotels, and he writes about them and stuff. And every motel he goes to, it's all fake. Like everything he goes to, it's not real and everything. He doesn't believe in ghosts. He's a complete skeptic. That's why he does it, because it's an easy job. Then he finds out about a haunted hotel room in a hotel, and it's 1408, the room for 1408, and he finds out that it's haunted, and Samuel L. Jackson is the hotel manager, and he doesn't want John Cusack to stay at this hotel room because he's scared for his life, but John Cusack, again, doesn't believe that it's haunted. But yeah, he stays the night there, and he learns the truth. It's fucking haunted. It is terrifying as shit. And the movie's not always just a straight horror film. Yes, there's some creepy stuff. He gets to see, like, spirits of the people who died in it. And he gets to see some really spooky shit, but it's also a character study about John Cusack and his life, and about his father, about the daughter he lost, about him getting back together with his wife, and it's a really interesting character study, and I think John Cusack is so good in the film. Samuel L. Jackson is good too, and I absolutely love this film. This is such a good, another very overlooked film, and it's a great Stephen King adaptation, and yeah, it's a really solid flick, and there's different cuts to the movie. There's 3 different endings to this movie, and 2 of them I hate, 1 of them I really love. The one I love is the theatrical ending. Yes, I actually saw this movie in theaters, so that was the original ending I saw. That's the proper ending. Then there's the one with his boss, Tony Shalhoub. That's a dumb one. Then there's the one with Samuel Jackson. I don't like that one either. The proper ending, the John Cusack ending, that's the proper ending for me. So when you watch this movie, try to find that ending. I don't know how to find that. It's not on the Blu-ray. I think you have to buy the DVD and watch the theatrical cut. That's the proper way. It's like fucking watching Blade Runner. There's so many cuts and additions to it, but the proper ending is the proper way to watch 1408. And yeah, the film is really solid and very overlooked. Coming number 4 is Disturbia. Yes, I never thought I'd put a Shia LaBeouf film on this list, but I just did. It's so good. I don't know why it's good, but it is good. Shia LaBeouf is really solid in this flick, and this is more of a modern adaptation of Rear Window. Let's get this straight. This is nowhere near as good as Rear Window. Rear Window is one of my favorite films of all time. It's my favorite Hitchcock film. It is amazing. To me, that is like almost a perfection thriller. That is like almost a perfect thriller in my opinion. This movie adds more like horror elements to the story, but it's still a thriller. It's still a psychological thriller. And it is good. Like when I first heard about this movie, I'm like, I don't know about that. Like a teenage modernization version of Rear Window. That sounds kind of stupid. But I saw it. I saw it in theaters, and I was pleasantly surprised. It is a good movie. It does have tension at times, and Shia LaBeouf gives a very good performance. I even like the side characters, like Aaron Yo, his buddy. His buddy's hilarious. Even the girl next door cliche. It's actually good. They have like kind of a cute little romance with each other, and the movie doesn't focus on like a bunch of scares. It actually focuses on the characters and makes us give a shit about them, and it makes us care about Shia LaBeouf. Like, we actually root for him in this movie, and Carrie-Anne Moss plays his mother. David Morse plays the creepy neighbor next door. He spies on him. He thinks he's up to no good. He thinks he's the one that's murdering all these girls who have gone missing and stuff, and he's obviously right, and it's a very solid flick. It's not amazing, but it is a very good movie, and it pleasantly surprised me. Like, when I first heard about this movie, it looked awful, but it is really good, and I do watch it every Halloween season, and yeah, it's a good movie. Coming number 3 is a film that I always love watching during the Halloween season. Ever since I've been a kid, I've loved this movie, and that is The Monster Squad. Oh yeah, we're talking about nards, man. We're talking about fucking nards. I love The Monster Squad. I adore this film. So it's written by Shane Black. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's the movie monsters. You got Frankenstein's monster, the werewolf, the mummy, Count Dracula, coming into the world of the 80s, and all these kids fighting against them. Was it the 80s or the 90s? I think it was the 80s. It might have been the 90s. I don't know. But all these kids fighting against the classic movie monsters. They're called the Monster Squad, guys, and this is so ridiculous and so over the top and so freaking corny. I absolutely love every goddamn second of this movie. It is awesome, hilarious, entertaining, and just go watch it. If you love Halloween-themed videos, if you love Halloween-themed movies, then this is definitely for you. It has the classic monsters, has the kid characters, badass kid characters, killing the shit out of some movie monsters. If you want to watch a movie with a bunch of 12-year-olds with baseball bats and guns, killing werewolves and vampires and shit, like, you want to watch something, you think that sounds badass, it is badass. Watch this movie. It's ridiculous, over the top, it's amazing, go watch it. Coming number 2 is The Others. The Others is a really good, solid, very subtle film, and I love it. Like, again, if you love a good ghost story, please check this one out. This is a film I don't want to talk about because I feel like quite a bit of people have seen this, and a lot of people really love this film, which they should, but I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to spoil anything about it, especially the ending. The ending to this movie is really good. Like, it is a very good twist. This is kind of like a twist like A Sixth Sense and stuff. Like, you don't want to spoil the twist. It's really good. Nicole Kidman is so good in this movie. The kid performances are all solid. Great cinematography, great costume design, amazing storytelling, fantastic direction. this is a solid flick. I don't want to talk too much about it. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. It is so freaking good. And if you've seen it, you can take my word of it. You all agree with me. This is an amazing film and one of the best. And my number one favorite PG-13 horror film is, I just said it a few minutes ago, or a few seconds ago, that's The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense. Yes, I know everyone's gonna be like, wait. The Sixth Sense is not a horror film. I kind of agree with you. I kind of consider it more of like a supernatural thriller, psychological thriller, but when you look at it, like, even when you look at, like, the top 5 highest-grossing horror films, The Sixth Sense is, like, number 1. They classify it as a horror film. It's like Split. They classify that as a horror film, so I'm gonna count it. And since I do count it, it's amazing. I love The Sixth Sense. It's not my favorite Shyamalan movie. Unbreakable will always be my favorite. But Unbreakable is not a horror film. This is a horror film, so I love this movie. I love it. Bruce Willis is amazing. Haley Joel Osment is amazing. Toni Collette is amazing. It's such a good film. Again, I don't want to spoil the twist, but I think everyone in the history of this planet, I think everyone fucking knows the twist of The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense is actually one of those, like, obvious twists. The others doesn't have a very obvious twist, because I know a lot of people haven't seen it, but most people have seen The Sixth Sense. Even people who haven't seen The Sixth Sense know the twist to The Sixth Sense, but just in case, I won't say it, but I see dead people. Haley Joel Osment gives one of the best child performances out there. Bruce Willis is fantastic. Shyamalan, this is what gave us Shyamalan. After this movie, we all thought M. Night Shyamalan would be one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. Boy, were we ever wrong, but he's redeeming himself. What he did with Split this year, he's getting his groove back, but yeah, this is a really great film. I love this film. I love how it was written and directed and paced. It is a very spooky film. I love these characters. The 3 lead characters are very compelling, very riveting characters, very three-dimensional characters, and I love The Sixth Sense. Like, despite what I feel sometimes about M. Night Shyamalan, he did direct my least favorite film of all time, but when I watch movies like this, it does give me hope that Shyamalan is a talented filmmaker. He may be very horrible at times in his career, but when he first started out, he was amazing, and this is one of his great films. This is such an excellent film, and hands down the best PG-13 horror film I've ever seen. So yeah, that's my top 10 personal favorite PG-13 horror films. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with the top 10 list? If not, give me your top 10 favorite PG-13 horror films in your opinion. Comment below, let me know. And as always, for this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.